welcome back to Art with Miss K, where every week we dive into a new art topic and create our own masterpieces. Last week we were able to paint our own cute little Frankensteins, so be sure and go and check that video out. I'm doing things a little different today, and we're diving right into it again. Today we'll be learning how to draw and paint a cartoon pumpkin. So let's go over the supplies you'll need and let's just get started. So here are the supplies you'll need. If you're wanting to join in but don't quite have the right or all the supplies, no worries. I set up an Amazon list where you can find the supplies you might need located in the description below, so check that out. For today, you'll need a canvas or heavy paper, pencil and an eraser, paintbrushes in multiple sizes, acrylic paints. We'll be using white, black, orange, and green, a paint palette, paper towels or a cloth, and some water. First, we're going to start by sketching out our pumpkin. Let's start by sketching out a nice size oval right in the center of your paper. Depending on how you want your pumpkin to look, you can make it taller and skinnier or shorter and fatter, all just a preference. I like to sketch it out super lightly over and over until I finally get that perfect shape I'm looking for. Next, we'll be adding half ovals to each side of that middle oval. I'm drawing mine so they're a smidge smaller at the top and a little more round at the bottom, like so. Next, we'll be adding another layer of half ovals next to the previous half ovals. Try to make them a little smaller than the other ones. Now that we have the base of our pumpkin complete, we'll start adding a stem. Now you can add a long stem or a curly stem or a short little stumpy stem. It's all up to you. After we get that stem in, let's add a little dimension. Now, imagine that we're looking at our pumpkin from above. Now, when we're looking at our pumpkins from above, we need to add a little bit of that pumpkin on the other side, so from the back of the pumpkin. To do this, you add a little bit of shape. You don't necessarily need to do a ton of detail when you're doing a cartoon pumpkin. You just want to shape out what it would look like behind that stem. I like to go over the stem a little bit so the lines line up after I erase that little extra out of the stem, like so. Make sure you have a round middle part and two on each side of that. Now, let's get into the fun part and get some color on our papers. For my orange, I combined it with a good amount of white to get a lighter shade of orange. After you get that perfect color orange you're looking for, go ahead and start applying a good layer of orange to your pumpkin. Now that you have that orange applied, take some of that orange color you created and add some to another part of your paint palette and mix, like smaller than a pea-sized amount of black or even brown with your orange color. We're creating this color for our darker shaded areas of our pumpkin. Now that we have the darkest area painted in, let's add more of that orange we created to the darker orange and make it a smidge lighter than we already have it. This will still be darker, but not the darkest part of your pumpkin. This will go on the shaded area or the front of our pumpkins in our case. Now that we have that color made, let's start adding it to the bottom portion of our pumpkins. This will start giving our pumpkin their rounded shape. Nice. Let's move on to our stem. I will be painting mine green. So to get this green, I used the green and mixed in some white to get a lighter shade of green to kind of match the orange I'm working with. Now that we have that base green, go ahead and apply it all over your stem. Now we're going to be doing the same thing we did with our orange to make the darker shade of our green to get the shaded area painted in. Take the green, add it to another area on your paint palette, and again, we're going to add a tiny little dot of black to that green to get the darker shade of green. Remember, a tiny little dot, that's all you need. We're going to be adding it to the bottom part of our stem here. Okay, now that we have all our shaded areas taken care of, let's start working on our highlighted areas. So let's add some white to your paint palette and add a smidge of your orange to that white and mix it up real good. Like I mentioned last week, guys, think about where the light is hitting your object and think about where you would need to put your lighter shade. The top portions of your pumpkin and right here in the middle is where I want to add the largest portion of my highlight. This is where the light is hitting my pumpkin the most. We're going to be highlighting our stem too, so grab some white again and mix a smidge of green with it. And let's make sure we highlight that stem. Okay, now we have our painted pumpkin. One thing I love to do to most of my paintings, like I mentioned last week, is outline it in black. Outlining in black isn't always necessary, but I love to see it and I love to make my paintings pop with that. So let's get into it. This part is my favorite. I love to take my time here and really focus on getting those lines in and as straight as I possibly can. There you have it, mini makers, your very own cartoon-like pumpkin. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun and enjoyed this how-to video on how to draw and paint a pumpkin. Remember, practice makes perfect, so keep creating. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to like this video, comment what other art projects or artists you'd love to learn about, or even if you have something in particular you would love to learn how to draw. Comment below and I will do my best to teach you how. Don't forget to subscribe to Art with Miss K and share your creations with me on social media, or shoot me an email with a picture of your art at info@minimakersart.com for a chance to be featured on my website. That link is in the description. Until next time, keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, the world needs your creativity. Thanks, guys.